Whilst anniversaries offer an opportunity to look back on the Queen's illustrious reign, a new exhibition that has opened today offers an insight into royal fashion throughout the decades. Called Royal Style in the Making, it features items from the Queen Mother to the present day, including that wedding dress from Princess Diana. We were lucky enough to get a sneak preview to the event and to speak to curator Matthew Storey. Let's take a look.
Diana, Princess of Wales's wedding dress hasn't been seen in Kensington Palace, her former home, since 1996, and I'm incredibly excited and pleased to bring it back to the palace for the first time since then, and to show it actually for the first time since 1981 with all of the material from the Emmanuel workshop. So that's the sketches, the swatches of fabric, the trial pieces, the original paper patterns used to cut out the pieces of fabric that were made up into the dress, to bring those two together for the first time since the day before Diana's wedding. So we had this idea of displaying the dress with the material that told you the story of how it was made. And then we thought, well, why don't we use that idea for the rest of the exhibition? So the whole exhibition is about looking behind the scenes at how 5 great designers made clothing for 3 generations of royal women. In an exhibition all about great partnerships between designers and their royal clients, I'm always struck by the great partnership that almost didn't happen, and that's the partnership between David Sassoon and Diana, Princess of Wales. The first time that Diana, when she was just Lady Diana Spencer, walked into David Sassoon's shop, which is Belleville Sassoon, which is his label, she needed an outfit for her engagement photos. But she was met by this rather formidable Russian vendeuse, so saleswoman. And she wasn't very clear about what event she needed an outfit for. And the vendeuse showed her a few things and just wasn't going anywhere. So the vendeuse said, it was close to closing time, she said, go around the corner, try Harrods, they might have something for you. I think a younger member of the shop staff afterwards said, I think that's the lady who's going to marry the Prince of Wales. Thank goodness Diana came back, because that became one of the great design partnerships, because David was an expert in royal dressing. He had dressed almost every female member of the royal family, so who better to guide Diana as she was stepping into her public life, step into her role as a working member of the royal family, than David Sassoon. The exhibition is in the historic orangery at historic Royal Palace. It's a beautiful 18th century building with wonderful classical columns inside. So visitors will walk in and they'll actually see beautiful, exquisite finished garments like Diana, Princess of Wales's wedding dress, a never before seen evening dress worn in the 1940s by the Queen Mother. But alongside that, you can see the designer sketches, their first idea where they're getting their inspiration down on paper. You can see the toiles, the prototypes, the samples, and also the letters between the designers and their royal clients. So we've got letters from Diana, Princess of Wales to David Sassoon, and from Her Majesty the Queen to Norman Hartnell. And all of this, I hope, will give people a sense of what it's like to step into these normally top secret, actually, places where royal fashion is created.
And Royal Style in the Making can be seen at Kensington Palace between now and January 2022. That's fun to say. Victoria, you managed to get a sneak preview. Tell us everything.
I did, yeah, it was really lovely. You know, Historic Royal Palace is the charity that manages the openings for Kensington Palace public openings. You know, like a lot of organisations, they've had a really, really tough time in the last year. So for them to be having this exhibition, you know, they were really delighted to be able to open it. It's quite a small exhibition. It's in the restored orangery, so it's not sort of a vast space, but they do pack quite a lot in. And you know, obviously the main event is Diana's dress, and that is what will draw people, and that is what is the centrepiece of the exhibition. I think what's quite nice about it is that you first approach it from behind. So the first thing that you see when you kind of go around the corner is the train.
The train.
bottom
Do you remember how
of this,
famous that was? Yeah.
Of this 25-foot train. And in a way, because you're not sort of presented with a mannequin straight away, it does give it this kind of more lifelike quality, really. And it's really nicely done. You know, I was talking to a different curator actually as well, who was saying this is a rare opportunity because this dress cannot be put on display all the time for long periods of time because it needs to be preserved. So she was saying, you know, this is really a once in a decade thing, and they have it on underneath very careful low lighting. So this is an opportunity really for people to see that dress up close, and I think that will be the main draw.
I'm fascinated, Julia. I don't know about you, Victoria, but I know, Julia, you and I remember
We're old enough.
seeing that dress for the
Yeah.
first time, and I cannot wait to see my perception of it on television versus in reality.
Yes.
What's
and
your
I
thoughts?
love the idea of seeing the train first, because that's sort of how we saw it. But of course, we remember that moment, and it was just, I mean, it was such a fairy tale, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
really was just an extraordinary day. I was a child, and I can absolutely remember every single aspect of that wedding. But I also remember when she got out of the car, and then she got out and shook out the dress, and the entire nation went, "Oh, the dress! Oh!" Because of the creasing, and there was
Yes.
this terrible creasing
Because,
of
you
the
know,
silk
because there was
everywhere.
so much of it.
Could barely fit it. She was billowing up in the car,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And you've got to remember, I mean, it looks incredibly dated now, doesn't it? Because it's big and it's flouncy and so different from the royal wedding dresses we've seen for the brides of her sons. But of course, that was the style then, the new romantic style. I mean, that was absolutely iconic dress. And the train was so epic. Yeah, I would love to see it in real life and just see how differently it looks. But as you say, it is an absolutely iconic piece of art to all intents and purposes now, and so it needs to be preserved.
I was a little girl and I thought it was marvellous.
It was absolute fairy tale, wasn't it?
I didn't want to hear about the creasing. Didn't want to hear it.
No. When I went to it, we all went, and then, oh.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
she
yeah,
looked
absolutely.
amazing. That's all we have for you on our YouTube show. But to see the rest of this episode, including some more fascinating royal revelations, head to www.mailplus.co.uk/royals or click the link on screen now.